What's up, guys? Victor here from Keyframe Lord. In today's tutorial, we're going to be creating a clean and modern SaaS motion design animation completely inside After Effects. And before we jump in, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out on upcoming tutorials, free project file, of course, free project files, and motion design breakdown. All right, let's get into it. So first, I'm going to open the first composition, which is the sending, where we have someone sending, just seeing the mouse doing this loading animation as if you are sending some stuff, right? So let me open the comp. So this is the comp, right? And this is the base layer. Just a simple animation, right? The scale, I animated the scale, and boom, we have this animation, right? Then we have some of the designs that we made on top. So it's just a basic design. There's nothing really complex. Then all of the design, I marked them inside this particular base layer. So just like they are inside, that's why you see everything is inside that particular base shape. So the animation looks a bit seamless. Then we have this jumping kind of animation. So I use this particular null object to control that particular animation. So yeah, so let's just quickly see how we can create some of this particular style. So there's nothing too complex here. It's just jumping, and this reveal the design inside the base layer. Then the next one was the mouse coming to do its thing. So the mouse comes in and we animate that loading effect, and we use it like a mesh cut animation to transit to the next thing, just as you can see here. So the mesh cut transits to like how you sent what you want to send. So let's see how we can do some couple keyframing to achieve this animation. So yeah, I'm going to delete this. So on this example layer, create a shape layer. You can name it as base shape, right? Then for the curve, we increase this to 100, so we have a perfect curve edges. Then for the anchor point, we want the anchor point to be at the center. So you hold Control on your keyboard, then click on this pan behind tool. So yeah, then you can take it to the center, or you can use your other stuff, right? So yes, so what I will do next is to create a null object, right? Then parent this to the null object. So on this null object, I'm going to press X arrow on my keyboard and Shift X to bring this. So for this one, I'm just going to take this to somewhere here. Then the rotation should be something like this. Then for the scale should be like this. So what I will do for these two keyframes is to add a little elastic motion to it, like it's a script. I've mentioned that on my other tutorial, so just add that. So something like this. Therefore this, so the reason I uncheck this particular link, this constraint button, is because I want to animate just the x-axis. Because if I try to animate this, it's going to animate both the x and y axis. So I need to uncheck this, then add a keyframe to this, then take it further to somewhere here. One to somewhere. Then I can reduce this a couple of times. Yeah. Then I'll add a little curve, something like this. Then add a keyframe here. Then another one here. So for this one, I'll take it up a bit. Then for this, I'll bring it down. So we have something like this, but I will need to add some little adjustment to this particular stuff. So let's see. So I'm going to this back a bit. Don't adjust this over a bit. So you can just do some adjustments so that it will fit into what you really want, right? So I think I'm okay with this. So I can say let this animation start from here, depending on what you want to gain, right? So that's for this animation, right? So let's see if I change the curve, if it will give me something different and something cooler. So let me take it back. Yes. So I think I prefer this style. So you just make some adjustment and see the one that works best and stuff like that. So that's how I made this. So after doing your design, right, just like the one we have for the main video. So once you're done with your design, so it's just a rough, you can do it was anyway you're like, oh, you feel like, okay, this is how you want to do it, depending on the clients or what they have already on their brand, right? So what I do next is to pre-compose. I say pre-compose just to max this inside this base layer, right? So I bring this up. So by the time we animate this, just words. So everything will be inside, right? So then the next thing I will do is for this particular designs that I've made, I'll just parent them to this null object, so the animation will be together, right? Or better still, instead of leaving everything here, you can as well pre-compose the design, right? And so that your layers will not be too much, right? So you have something like this. Yes, so that's how you can create this. Then the next thing on the design is the mouse. You see the mouse coming and doing the loading thing. So for the mouse, let me just go pick my mouse. So this is the mouse. Wait. So these are mouse, right? Let me put that so I don't click it. So these are mouse. So what I will do next for this mouse is to add a null object that will control the mouse for me, right? So we've already parented it to this null object, so we can control this. So on that particular animation, we have the mouse move like this and then close the stop. Yeah. So I'm going to create the animation like that. So first, what I will do is, let me say my mouse is at this point, depending on your composition and stuff. So let's say the mouse is at that point. So we have that there. So I'll press P on my keyboard, but let me bring it down here. Press P on your keyboard, then go for the, let's say here. And then somewhere here, right? So let's play just something like this, very awkward. So what we do is we select all the keyframes that we've already created, then right click on them, then go to keyframe interpolation. So once I click that, I will change this from linear to continuous Bezier so that we can have some kind of handle to control the path. Alright, so that's what we do here. So you just create the path the way you want it to look like in terms of the movement. Right, so we create something like this. So for this, we select these keyframes, then time row across time. So once you select this row across time, then I'll select both and add this kind of curve to it. Okay, so you see we have probably it's too slow, so let's reduce the speed a bit. So I can just quickly add the scale, animate the scale. So we have this animation, right? So then the next thing I will do is, as you can see on this particular animation, as it gets to this point, it starts the second journey. So once you get to this point, we'll not wait for it to stop, right? And we already have one null object. So I will duplicate this null object in all the keyframes I have for this. Then I'll parent this to this particular keyframe, right? So what I will do next is I will press arrow on my keyboard to bring the rotation, because I want to see that the mouse actually follow the path, but currently the orientation is not really nice, right? So I want it to follow the path. So there are different ways you can do it, but most of the times I really like mine too. I just like to do it manually, right? So I will add rotation here. So it should look like this. Good. So from this point, we add another keyframe. Let's see it. So somewhere here, we now animate this straight. So this is what we do the last animation for us. So for this, we'll have it somewhere like this. Right, so at this point, I'm going to animate the rotation of this. So we have it, we'll have this. So yeah, so once we are done, we are satisfied with this particular motion. The next thing we'll do is to bring in the loading animation. So next is to create a shape layer, something like this. And yeah, let's make it green. Let me pop this so we can pick this particular color. So pin this color. What we'll do is to bring this on top. Then we'll track mark this to the base shape. So we have this, right? So we can come here and just do some little adjustment so it fits into. Okay, so we have this already. So what I will do is I will click on this rectangular part, right click on it and convert to part, Bezier part. Okay, so I've converted it to Bezier part. So the next thing I will do is I'll click on this part, then go to one of the scripts that comes with After Effects, which is create node from part. So I will click that, click on the part, then click here, point follow node. So we have this to control each of the edges. So what I will do is, for these two, I'm going to parent one to this. So this one will control this part, right? Then I can off the other layers or other null objects. So for this particular one, at the point, let's close this. At the point where we have the mouse animating towards the left, right? At that point, we parent this now to this one. Then all of this we just cut from there. So we now have something like this. Let's bring this back. So there's a little problem. Right, there's a little tiny problem. So what I will do is, let me take this off and come to somewhere here. Bring this back. Sorry, bring this back at this point. Then I'll parent this back to this. So we have this animation. So, but I want it to be at the edge of the mouse. So I will still bring this a bit forward. Let me just take this. So yeah. So what I will do is, I'll just add a little animation to this. Just move it back. So apart from that, there are different ways you can do this. You can either do it manually or just do it the way I did mine. So we now have that. Then for this particular animation, you see that we have some kind of dust kind of animation. So what I did for that dust animation is, I created a particle. Let me just see and copy this here. So this is the particle I created. So how I created this particle, I used this plugin called CC Balls. CC Ball Action. Yeah, CC Ball Action. So if you go to your effects and presets, you can just type in CC Ball. And this is it. So I applied it here, then just scatter the animation a bit, and then I animated the scatter motion, right? To just have that subtle movement on it. So that's how I created this particular one. So what I did for this CC ball is, I track mark it to this, right? Then I also mask out some regions, so it will not be everywhere, because if I don't have that mask, and when you just, I want it to follow the mouse itself, so I don't need everything to show. So I have that, just add, then I just mask it a bit. Then for this part, I add it to this. So just have that subtle motion. So yeah, so it's just there. So that's how I created this particular particle animation. Let me remove all the null objects. So that is how this animation, we created this animation, right? So yeah, So every other thing, they are just little aesthetics to bring the animation to life and the design itself. So I can off all of this. Okay, so for this second animation, where we have the booking, you book your date and all of that, we have some UI design, test animation, and some morphing as well. So let's go into the composition and see some of the things that we touch, right? So this is the base for this. Then we have this transition from this to this, right? And we have all of that. So let's just go to the example comp and we create something that looks like that. So go to pick your rectangle shape and create this type of shape. So we have, take this, the roundness to 100. So we have something like this. Then for this, we just go for something like this. Then we have like the stroke is completely white. Let me make it like 2 pixels. So we have this. So I'll just go inside the cent icon shape, stroke. So we change this line cap to round cap, then this to round join. So we have this. So we add our trim parts. We have this simple animation. Yeah, so very simple. Let me just do some little adjustment. So yeah, we have something like that. So for this, I'm going to uncheck this constraint stuff. Then we'll have it like so. So just something multiple. Okay, so I'll check this, then add a keyframe to this size, then something like this, then make this 94. So we have, okay, we just add a keyframe, not 94. Then to this side, we make it 94. So it will be a rounded, be a perfect circle. Okay. So we have this. Then we mark this, mark this to this, so it will be inside. So we just need to centralize it. And then, yeah. Then have a null object. So the null object, we bind this to this, and this to that. So for this, we have this like this on it, this, and then we just so there's it. We have that. Then it transits to where we have this plus sign. So just create. This will be for the rest design. this part. So let me just quickly create another null object and parent this to this. So this should go with this one. So as we animate this in, we take this one up, right? Let me up this, take this up. Yeah, for the base layer, what I'll do is I'll just add a couple of keyframes. So one thing about this animation is you can actually transform this, so it should just be seamless, very seamless. So it's different from what I did here, right? You can use this. Let me go to use my my position, right? P on my keyboard, then go back with you. So for example, I can actually bring, let me take this back here. I can bring this down. So we can try to match it with this particular radius, right? So if I bring this down and then reduce this a bit, let's just try to match it so it's centered. It's at the center, right? So something like that. Okay. Like this. Lucia 96. Right? Something like that. So the transition will be seamless. So by the time I add some keep easing, I can even make it, instead of to just happen at once, how it's like so something like that. It's not bad, but let me change the keyframe. Let it go. Let it happen with that kind of speed. Oh my. Yeah. So I'm going to target this point from here where we have this, well, from this point we animated it down, right? So I'm just going to match it from here. That's where this we're animating. So I can make this. I don't want it to be too fast. So this is just trying to just create something different from what we already have, right? So let me use my copy, easy copy. So I'm going to copy this and paste. So we have this. Then for this icon, I'm going to animate it down. So it's supposed to be down here. have something soft. So I'm able to bring this down a bit again. So something like that, instead of it just appearing here, I think this, instead of us just using opacity animation to reveal it, this is also another way you can animate it. So while this is happening, this visual will transform into, so it's the animation starts from, okay, so as it's going down, this will transform. Let me isolate this. This will transform to something like this, right? For the plus sign to come in. So you can just smooth this motion. Or something like that. Yes, so this is the sent icon. If we go back to our animation, so as it's going back, right? So as it's animating, so we have this. So from this point, it's transforming from this to the plus sign. So let me reduce this a bit to, I think it's too long. So I'll bring this down and with some little adjustment. So yeah. So for this, I will just add a keyframe to that part and then animate the parts. Okay, so just arrange this to something like this. So let's see how it transforms. So we have that transformation. So I'm just going to duplicate, right? So for this one, I'm just going to rotate this with 90. Then I'll take out the keyframes we have for this. So the reason I'm taking out this keyframe because of the animation as well. So from this point where we have this, I will add a keyframe, then add another keyframe at this point, right? So then this I will take it to 0. Okay. Then I keep 4. Okay, so for this, I'm just going to add the trim pot animation. So we now have this. So the next thing that we will put is this test, right? So I already have the test comp. So what I did here was just simple animation, right? That's what I did. So I bring this test here, then so I'll track mark this here, then parent it to this one. Let me remove it from this and see. Okay, I think this is better. So then from this, so as we get to this point, we are taking this up. We're taking this up Let me take this phone out. So before it gets that, so just to match the motion, so let me extend this. Okay, so as it's going up, this will bring everything down. So just like anticipate you go up, then you flush down. So come to this point. So from here we do the transition for the next test. Yeah. So we have something like that. So let's set this. So I just have it. So the transition will have like a mesh cut. So from this point where we have, so I'm going to transit from this particular point. This is where we have like a higher frequency. Yeah, let me call it that. A higher frequency or so I'm going to move this, sorry. Well, okay. Like, if you're just extend it a little. Okay, so from this point, we transit. So cut from here. So just like a mesh cut transition. Okay, so what we have for that is this. We have this. So for this, it's a simple kind of animation. So what I did here was just a simple review, as you can see. So let me just copy one of these and bring it here. So from this, we'll make the one animation for one, then find a way to duplicate them for the rest. So from this transition, if we go back to the UI BG, press U on my keyboard. Let me pull up this U on my keyboard. We are going to extend the, no, there's nothing. So I just scale, let me scale this down. The thing I'm going to do at this point is to parent it to the vision. So we have it like this. So I'm going to press P and shift arrow on my keyboard. So I'm just going to give this. Okay, before I do that, let me just quickly duplicate them. We have 5 of them. 1. So we have that. So at this point, I'm going to press P and arrow on my keyboard. Then add a couple of keyframes. Just take this. So just have a couple of frames. 1, 1, 2. But I'm just going to. Then for the keyframes, I'm going to select all of these keyframes, then come to my mobile, then add this elastic. So 27 for rotation, then 32. Alright, so I'm done with that. Let me just quickly put everything on shape. So this is the transition from that. So yeah, so at first it looks like we were, but we are going to make it look okay. So I'm just going to offset them a bit. There's a plugin for this just to make it all fast, but let me just draw one for the cube. So let me just go check. That was a bit too slow. One. So, okay, then it's fine. So what I would do for this is just to add like a position, a null object separately from this that we control this ones. So for this, I'll take it to 14. Then for the swan, I just yes. So what the reason for this, for me to just have the simple control for the days of the week. So I hope shift and add keyframe to P and scale and position. Yeah. Then I'll take this up a bit. So something like that. So for this and this, I'm just going to max them, put them on this machine. So everything inside. So let's see. Just with few little keyframes, and you can achieve that. So for if you want to, since we already have this animation and you want to change them from, so you can just quickly come. Okay, so for this one, this one, I think we have enough time, so I need to take that one out. So as it entered, we have this, and so from this point where the animation starts, so from this point, what I did was to actually animate all of this down, right? So from this point, so you can create a different null object and just parent this to that new object instead of animating them one at a time, so that you can have a better and flexible control. So for this, since they are on null 1, I'll just take this one and parent that, so I'll then take this and bring this here. So as that animation is happening at this point, I'm going to take all of this down. So I think I added a mask, so that mask, I might just need to delete that mask. So as this is happening, they are all coming down, right? And as they are coming down, the frame itself or the background is still adjusting. So it's just like interactive animation. So something like that. Then we add, so let's say come here, bring it down a bit again. So bring this, right? So that's how you animate this particular style. So it's not really complex, just to have your timing in place and add some little spice to it. So for the mouse, it's actually simple. Just do the timing. So let me say I copy this mouse from here and bring the mouse here. And you can take out, okay, let me just leave that keyframe. So I will use that to do what I want to do. Okay, so I will create a null object, place it here. then parent my mouse to this null object, right? Let's say we have all of this. This is where the animation starts. And click again, right? Yeah, so add my keyframe position as usual. So as this is happening, let me put a keyframe here as well. So at this particular time, I'm going to put my mouse here. So I want it to move like this and come to this point. Then the clicking happens. So I'm just going to right click, then keyframe interpolation, so I can have an handle to adjust the point, something like this and like this, right? So let's have it like so. No, so let's just say something like this. So you just need so. Okay, so at this point it's supposed to be on this one, not that one, because that is where we want to do the clicking. So it moves sluggishly and click again. Yeah, so that's for that point. So what I will do on this part is to just add some rotation to it so that we follow the right. So if I go back to the P position, I just create some little smoothness, like easing to it. So if I go back a bit and play, we'll have something like wedge. So the movement is not really too straight. So for this animation, right, I'm just going to do some little adjustment. So we can actually adjust. The last rotation should be from here, because I want it to be like this. So just something simple. Yeah. Okay, so before this keyframe, this, let me just see something. Okay, so I'm going to take out this. So sometimes when you do this work, you just try to see how everything will look good at the same time. So from this keyframe, before it gets here, just going to bring this down. Oh, sorry, I need to parent this, so this, and bring this down and flip it to somewhere like this. So because of this, I can just adjust this a little bit. So somewhere here, there for the Monday, since we have it here, let me so I'm just going to take it a little bit back. Then let me freeze frame this. So yeah, that's how you can actually create this animation. So you can just add like a skill to reveal the mouse, so it does not just appear all of a sudden. Alright, and that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys learned something valuable from this tutorial. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more motion design tutorial on this channel. Also, the free project file for this tutorial, I will be dropping it on the 25th of this month. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.